Does your budget need help this month? Let me help you. Today, I'm gonna share with you six easy frugal living meal planning tips that will help your budget. I have had so many people ask me how I meal plan for a family of 6 and keep it to $125, $150 every week. This right here is what we use to meal plan our week. It has the days of the week, and I'm gonna share 6 tips with you to help you have frugal living, easy meal planning tips that will help you meal plan your week. Number 1, that is to pick for each dinner of the week, pick a different category or genre of food. So maybe one night do Hispanic food, another night do soup, another night do a sandwich or American food. You name it, that will help you categorize it in your head and make it a little bit more simple, trying to come up with different meal plans throughout the week and different meal ideas, because it can get daunting. When you have all your kids home for the summer, or even when they're in school, it can get daunting trying to think up 7 different meals every week. And that's just dinner, let alone lunch and breakfast. Number 2, this one is keep it simple. It does not have to be crazy. It does not have to be this whole elaborate meal plan. And you know, part of me was a little nervous to share you guys my meal plan with you because it's not super elaborate every night. I do cook from scratch a lot, but scratch doesn't necessarily mean have to make every little ingredient that goes with the meal. Most nights, I don't cook huge elaborate meals. I usually save those for the weekend, especially during the school year, or a night that I know I'm gonna be home. So I make sure that I put my easy meals on busy days and my big, more elaborate meals, meat and threes, whatever you wanna call them, for nights that I know we're gonna be here. That way you don't doom yourself to failure, because if you choose and meal plan a big elaborate meal on a day that you're not gonna be home or gonna be home late, you're gonna say, I think I'd rather just go get fast food. Don't doom yourself. Try to make it easier for yourself. Think out your week. Do things happen and you need to be flexible? Absolutely, that's gonna happen. But try to kind of have a backup plan and be flexible with your meal plan. Be willing to move something around. Number 3 is pantry shop. I know I have said this before, but this is a vital part of my meal planning every week, because a lot of times things do happen and we end up needing a faster meal. We just make sandwiches or something like that. And so we end up having leftover food that wasn't cooked, or meals that wasn't cooked a week before or a week prior, things like that. It happens. But instead of going out and making a whole new list of all new items, I'm gonna pantry shop first. So make yourself look in your pantry for 5 minutes before going to the grocery store, or even better, before you meal plan, because you can sit down, write out your list of items that you need. So you're not adding any more items to that list that you don't already need. Because if you're meal planning, then you know exactly what you need, and you can pantry shop beforehand. Or you can look through your pantry before you even meal plan, and that way you know you can build meals around what you already have. So for example, I was supposed to make fettuccine Alfredo last week, and a lot of those ingredients are still completely fine. Actually, I think all of those ingredients are completely good, still within date, still completely fine. So instead of going out and making a whole nother meal and meal plan for another meal, I'm gonna go ahead and utilize that as one of my meals. That is an easy trick. It helps you save money because then you're not adding more items to your list, and I already know I have it. So pantry shop first. Number 4, this one is so simple. Reuse leftovers. You heard me right. Reuse those leftovers, because it is so easy to meal plan if you know your family and you know that they're gonna have a lot of leftover mac and cheese from one meal. You can reuse that for another meal. Or you can reuse the mashed potatoes, repurpose them. Recently, my family had pineapple ham for dinner, and we had half of it left over. So instead of leaving it in the fridge, hoping that somebody's gonna eat it, I actually utilized that to create a whole nother meal. And I made ham and cheese sliders that my family loves. So instead of it just sitting in the fridge and going to waste, go ahead and have a plan for it. And you can plan to have all the other ingredients to go with it. That way you're reusing the leftovers and they don't actually feel or realize that they're eating leftovers. Recently, I made a frugal living video, and in that video, I will post that video at the end, by the way, so go ahead and go watch it because it's gonna help you as well. In that video, I said reuse those leftovers and make sure that you sit down and look at your budget, look at your bank account and see how much you're actually spending on fast food. Add all of it up, the restaurants, the fast food, the coffee stops, the soda stops, the snack stops, anything that you are stopping and putting in your mouth and buying to put in your mouth, add it all up. Sit down, add it up, you will be astonished. If I replace even one meal a week for my family, I am saving $200 to $300. And that's only with fast food. That's not including a sit-down restaurant where you have to pay tip and pay the even higher prices. If you even replace one meal a week that you routinely stop at, you are going to save your family hundreds of dollars a month. It blows my mind how much we saved when we started meal planning and actually reutilizing leftovers and shopping our pantry, all of these other 6 tips that I am telling you. It blows my mind how much we actually save. Number 5 is keep a list of meals, a running list of meal ideas that when you randomly throughout the week come up with an idea and you're like, oh, that sounds good, go ahead and write it down. Because when you sit down to try to meal plan, I can promise you, because I'm the exact same way, my mind goes blank. I can't think of ideas and it makes it a lot harder. Obviously, the whole categorizing it is an easy tip that helps you as well, because then you can think of different categories. But what's even better and what works so much better so that you're not frantically trying to come up with ideas later, keep a list of ideas. If you're going down the road and you happen to get to your parking lot and you're like, you know what, that sounds like a great food. I want to try that, or I want to cook that this week. I'm feeling it. Go ahead and write it down, because that way when you go later this week or even that night or whenever it is to sit down and meal plan your week, you have that list and you can refer back to that list of meal ideas that you're like, oh, this sounds like a great one. Let's try this one for this day because I have more time and I can cook it on that day. If you're cooking things on days that you're busy, make sure they're easy meals. Last but not least, number 6. Number 6 is shop in-season items to make your grocery list and your grocery budget. All of these things will save you money. Is it gonna look like 50 cents here, 25 cents there, $3 there? Yes, but I can promise you all of that adds up, because when you go to the grocery store, whether it's one time a week, one time a month, I can't do one time a month. I usually routinely go one time a week, because that way I'm meal planning 1 week out and I make my list of items I need and I put that list on there. When I'm making my meal plan and my list of items, I write down everything that I'm gonna need from the grocery store for the most part, with a little bit of flexible room, because a lot of times we do meat and threes on the nights that we're here a little bit more with more time. I will do that more elaborate meal with all the sides and all the fixings and all of that. And I shop in season if at all possible. So during this time of year is the best time to do that, because you have all kinds of options of in-season vegetables, fruit, all kinds of stuff that you can create sides with. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Keep it simple. Use that other tip that I just told you. Keep it simple. So roasted broccoli, nothing fancy. My kids love it. They hate steamed broccoli. So find out what your kids like, utilize that. And when it's in season, shop in season items and make sure that you make that part of your list and part of your meal plan. You can even list vegetables. And when you get to the store, look to see what's on sale, and that be the vegetable that you cook for dinner as the side that night. That's how meal planning works and how you will save a lot of money. When it's time for me to sit down and meal plan, I get a piece of paper, I sit down and I look. I can use my phone sometimes. I don't always use a piece of paper. It's just whatever works for you, use it. Again, I utilize this calendar right here so that my kids don't come to me a billion times a week asking, what's for dinner? What's for lunch? What's for breakfast? They can look at here and I will write on here, and I'll show you a picture of it when it's finished, but I will write on here lunch and dinner. For breakfast, I keep it simple. I don't do anything crazy. I usually do 1, maybe 2 hot meals of breakfast a week where you do the eggs or the pancakes and it's actually more cooking, or cinnamon rolls, you know, things like that. I usually do 1 to 2 of those a week. And then the rest of the week, it's cereal or oatmeal or yogurt. Those are kind of the typical items. Or I will meal plan and meal prep and do a lot of pancakes, or a lot of sourdough waffles is something I try to keep in the freezer. And they have those. It's not hot made that morning, but when you put it in the toaster, it tastes just fine. It tastes just like it did before. So those are ideas for breakfast. I just kind of keep it simple, but I will show you the list of lunches and dinners that I made, my list of groceries. I will show all of that to you, but I keep it simple. And when I sit down and make my meal plan, I go through and I shop my kitchen, I shop my fridge, I look at my fridge, see what leftovers I have. I look to see what I already have. And I know that sounds crazy because you're gonna look at my meal plan and be like, oh, that's not a very elaborate meal. No, it's not. What family do you know cooks a 5-course meal every day? If they do on YouTube, they're probably not telling you the truth. Most families don't cook a massive meal. There are some homesteaders that, yes, they do, and they're fantastic. Bravo to them. I applaud them so much. And would that be my goal one day? That would be fantastic. But in this season of life, we are all doing the best that we can. Don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let it completely overwhelm you. Another trick that I use that I would recommend too is, again, sit down, look at your budget, see what meal you are eating out every week routinely, and come up with a plan to replace at least one of those. And you will save yourself hundreds of dollars right there. Keep it simple. Don't overwhelm yourself. This is easy. If you have any tips and tricks that your family uses in your family, by all means, put it in the comments below. I'm trying to build a community of encouragement and trying to support other moms and other women that have family, grandkids that they cook for, anything like that, husbands, wives, whoever, that we will help support each other and try to encourage each other to cook and save money and eat healthier. So if you have any tips, write them down below. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me here at Autumn Leigh at Home. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I hope to see you guys next time. That's a wrap.